Social Zoom Factor, episode 198.
Driving results in business these days takes something special. It's a combination of the right info and the right energy. Pam Moore has both and is here to help you avoid the pitfalls and guide your business and life by leveraging and integrating social media, powerful branding, and digital marketing. Welcome to Social Zoom Factor. Now it's time to live life zoomed.
Are you ready to take your new idea to fruition? One of the first things you need to do is get your business online. Our partner HostGator can take you from zero to turbo fast. Download their Get Online the Easy Way ebook and receive a coupon code for 30% off any new hosting package. Simply visit socialzoomfactor.com/HostGatorEasy or simply text HostGator to 33444. The Marketing Nuts Agency helps companies transform their social and digital business from the inside out. Visit their website at www.themarketingnutswithaz.com for a client list, case studies, and some amazing free resources to get you started down the path of success. Hey there, Zoomers, and welcome to Social Zoom Factor. This is your host, Pam Moore. All right, today I hope you are ready to put your business hat on because we are going to talk about something really important, whether you are in a small organization or medium or even enterprise. And we are talking about how to get your social media budget approved. And this can also include how to get people on board and get them supporting your social media strategy, getting that budget approved and buy-in, okay? So today we are talking about 5 major things you should not be doing if you are wanting to get your social media budget approved, as well as 5 things you must do to get your social media budget approved. And I will tell you, I have loads of resources for you to download and listen to that will help you with all of these different topics we're talking about today. I will list them and put the best resources on the show notes page, which is basically the blog post recap for this episode. Just go to socialzoomfactor.com/198 because this is episode 198. I can't believe it. And there are also 2 resources you need to know about that if you're too lazy to go to the show notes page, at minimum, you need to download these 2 white papers. Okay. Number 1 is a deeper dive into how to get your social media budget approved. Just go to socialzoomfactor.com/social media budget. And that is a white paper that goes into even more detail than all the things we are talking about here today, with some additional tips and strategies and resources. As well, I have an 8-step template for how you can develop your own social business plan. Go to socialzoomfactor.com/social business plan. And both of those will be on the show notes page recap as well. So if you go there, you'll find everything. But let's go ahead and let's dive in. Now, I want you to know episode 197, right before this one, is also really good listening if you're looking to get your plan and your budget approved for the year and you really want to start off on the right foot. In episode 197, I talked about 10 questions that you must answer yourself before hiring a social media agency. So it's getting your own house in order and kind of knowing what you know and don't know, your strengths, your weaknesses, your gaps, all of those things. So you know how you can best leverage third-party resources. And so you're not walking into a proposal process, just asking for info because you're clueless. It'll help you end up with a much better engagement with any agency or consultant. So be sure to check that out. So let's go ahead and dig into today's topic. Now, foundational element number 1, before we go into the specific tips and strategies, is I want to tell you, you need to know and build your foundation of knowledge and the direction for where you are going. If you don't know where you are going, you're going to wind up somewhere else. And you need to know what you're doing and why. You need goals. You need objectives. You need to know your audience. You need to know what time, talent, and resources you have available, What does your available budget potentially look like? What are the skills that you have in-house versus not have in-house? What is the state of your social, your digital platform? Is it integrated? Are you mobile friendly? Do you have mobile responsive sites where you need to? What does your content platform and strategy look like? What is your knowledge of the larger ecosystem? What gaps do you have? How are you best going to utilize the services of a third party, right? If you're wanting to outsource everything to another third party, you're still going to have some skin in the game. So if you don't know where to start with this, I encourage you to get help. Okay. Our agency can absolutely help you. And we're offering a killer deal right now. And we don't ever do deals. This is honestly the first time we've ever offered a special offer on this podcast. So I encourage you to listen to the rest of this episode. I will showcase that featured opportunity at the end of the episode if you're wanting to know what that is. And it is specifically around our social media and social business audit and strategic plan and budgeting development processes that we can help you with. Okay. So let's dig into the top 5 things that you should not be doing if you're wanting to get your social media budget approved. Number 1 is you need to stop trying to boil the ocean, right? Do not be overpromising the C-suite and your executives and the boardroom results that you simply can't deliver. Right? You may need to start in the backyard pond. You may be in a kiddie pool, for goodness sakes. So if you have a small team, a small budget, you don't know what's up with social or digital, quit trying to say you're going to be social media rock stars in the next 3 months because it's simply not going to happen. These things take months and years, not hours and days. Okay. Yes, we can make progress, but you need to stop trying to boil the ocean. And we have a specific strategy that we're going to recommend you use, which is putting it into 6-month increments. And I'll talk about that later on when we get to the things that you must do. Okay. Tip number 2 for what not to do is don't fake it until you make it. If you need help, ask for help. Don't pretend that you and your team have the skills that you need if you simply don't, right? You're not going to win that way. If you have just landed in a new job running social and your executive management thinks that you know what you're doing in the entire world and ecosystem of social media, you need to set expectations immediately. You need to let them know that you're going to need some outside help to help you, or you're going to need some internal help. And that can be difficult if you have been put into a leadership role where you are supposed to be leading that entire strategy. So honestly, my recommendation to you is that you look at a third party partner that can help you figure out these things. Find somebody like our agency that knows these social waters and knows how to direct your strategies and your plans so that you can make sure that you win, not only in your own career and in your own job that you're currently in, but that your company can win and that you can wind up with an amazing case study of doing things the right way and throwing your ego aside. Okay. Tip number 3 for things you should not do is do not work in a bubble. Collaboration is absolutely key. So make sure that you are involving the right stakeholders and key extended team members across your organization. The worst thing you could do is to lock yourself in a room for the next 3 months, doing everything yourself, trying to boil your ocean when you could be working with your friends and family internally, the people that also want to see this thing succeed and having better success. Okay. You need to invite your friends into your little paddle boat and help you get across that pond, because together you are going to be so much more successful than if you tried to boil the ocean all by yourself. Tip number 4 for don't is do not assume that your management and your stakeholders even understand what social media is, right? I don't care if they are sitting in meetings and training and they're nodding their head. And when you're talking to them about what you're doing in the social ecosystem, they're saying, oh yeah, I got Instagram. I got Twitter. I know what's up. Yeah. Maybe they do have a Twitter account. Maybe they do have an Instagram account. Maybe they use Facebook on the weekends with their family and their teenage kids. However, do they really understand what social means for business? Do they really know what it means to connect the dots? Do they know how to align a business business goal to a social media strategy and plan? If they don't, you better know that, because they won't be able to make the proper decisions for your budget to be approved if they don't know what they're getting into. So make sure that you create an environment that enables people to share both their weaknesses and their strengths, an environment where people are not afraid to ask questions. And I always say the only dumb question is the one that doesn't get asked, okay? Conduct a survey if you need to do a survey. We do a lot of surveys on behalf of our clients, particularly larger clients who are looking at, executive programs and wanting to roll this out, knowing they may not have the right skill set. And we'll do surveys that stay confidential, but it gives us the opportunity to understand where people are, how they're using social, how we can best optimize their greater team, right? Looking at employee empowerment. We love working with larger and medium-sized organizations and even small who want to truly empower their team and train them on how to utilize the social networks to build their own personal brand and also support that of the larger corporation, as well as doing, some things that we call employee advocacy, where they can be some of your best advocates utilizing the social web. So all sorts of things you can do around there, but just make sure that you're not assuming people know what they don't know. And last tip for things you should not do is do not be impatient and do not fall to random acts of marketing, okay? Don't let your executives and your stakeholders push you to behaviors and tactics that are not going to drive real measurable results. Impatience leads to random acts of marketing. It leads to chasing shiny objects. It leads to getting a really bad case of fear of missing out, right? Where you have this fear of missing out, and then you're constantly chasing every shiny object, social network, trying to become rich and famous. My friends, that is not going to work for most business people and brands. This works for people and influencers who are building a brand and a business by chasing shiny objects and helping the rest of us avoid fear of missing out. They're getting paid by sponsors. They're wanting to do that type of work of chasing shiny objects. And what happens many times is people that are working with inside brands, they start chasing shiny objects too, right? Or even if you're a business owner or you own a small business, a solo entrepreneur, you need to be really careful, and you need to make sure you are building your business. Smart marketers know when to jump on something new and know when it's simply a shiny object. And if you don't know, that may be when you need to get the help from a third party. But make sure that you are avoiding those random acts of marketing, random acts of social media. It feels good to cross 10 things off a list and say, I completed these 10 things today. But if those 10 things didn't help you get toward your bigger goals and objectives, it's pretty much all for nothing. And you do 30 days of 10 things a day that are not getting you toward your bigger goals and objectives. You've just wasted a ton of time that you could have been spending on your top 3 goals and objectives that could have helped you make much bigger progress. Okay. So take your time to plan your work and work your plan, and make sure you are patient with achieving the desired outcomes. Okay, so now we are going to move on to the 5 things that you must do to get your social media budget approved. Before we do, we need to hear a few words from our sponsors, because they are what keeps this podcast zooming. So please give them a listen, and I'll be right back. The new year brings a time for evaluation, reflection, and planning. As an entrepreneur, you know your product, your target market, and how you are going to differentiate from competition to achieve success. One thing that often gets forgotten, though, is the online foundation. Do you have the right digital foundation to build a structurally sound business, or are you building on sand and hoping it will hold? Successful businesses are built on steady ground. You need a blueprint for success, curb appeal, and security. Our partner HostGator can help you do this and more. Download their Business Builder Kit, inclusive of 9 steps for planning your website, 10 mistakes to avoid on your homepage, and 3 easy steps to protect your website from hackers. Simply go to socialzoomfactor.com/HostGatorBiz or text HostGatorBiz to 33444. Again, that is socialzoomfactor.com/HostGatorBiz or text HostGatorBiz to 33444. Do you ever feel stuck in a rut, like your online business and social business isn't all that it could be? The Marketing Nuts Agency helps small businesses clear up to the Fortune 50 brands, provide clarity and vision for current and future programs. The Marketing Nuts believe in ROI-driven decision-making while still inspiring audiences with relevant content. From social business strategy and consultation, influencer marketing, to corporate training and workshops, and fully outsourced digital and social programs. The Marketing Nuts helps you prioritize your investment, impact business goals, and inspire your audience to invest in a relationship with you. To start the conversation, visit www.themarketingnuts.com. I'm back. Okay, let's talk about the 5 things you must do to get your social media budget approved. Number 1 is you need to define your mission and achieve approval for a 6-month time frame. And you do this by starting with a smaller scope. And we talked about this in the don'ts, where you do not need to try to boil the ocean. And if you are just starting out by wanting to obtain executive stakeholder and buy-in and approval, it's not necessary to boil the ocean. The chance of you getting approval for an 18-month, 24-month, 3-year plan are slim to none if your business is new to social media and executives don't understand what they're approving to begin with. Think about it. Put yourself in their shoes. If they own the company or they are responsible for the bottom line of the business, why would they give you $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 or more for a program that they don't understand and that is so many months out, and all they hear is that the only guarantee with social media is change? So they are feeling very, very uneasy. So you need to define a smaller mission. In the back office, your plan is still really big. You know where you want to be maybe in 12 months, in 18 months, in 24 months. But the key is you need to simplify it for the people that you need to get buy-in from. So that's why it is always a better strategy to start with a smaller scope. Start with a well-defined plan. Look at a 6-month plan for execution and budget approval. This does not mean that you are going to become a social business within 6 months. It simply means you are going to set goals and objectives that can be measured within that time period. And the goal is to establish measurable and achievable goals that can help you win the support and trust of your management as quickly as possible. You will then be able to achieve some very early and small wins to earn trust. Okay. As you start to earn trust, this enables you to work the internal mind shift changes that must take place for you to be able to get your broader team on board. Because if you have an organization that maybe is filled with some people who understand social pretty well and the rest of them don't, or you may just even have a couple key players who don't understand social, you have got to focus on that mind shift change, that educational piece. They need to understand why you're asking for this budget and exactly how you're going to spend it. And you need to make sure that along the way, you are showing some established goals and objectives. You have your key performance indicators that you're setting within this 6-month period that you are achieving. All right. And it could be that you're implementing your foundational, maybe you're building your social and your digital platform. You're getting that cleaned up. You're making your site mobile responsive. You're working on your content strategy. You're doing more research on your audience. All of those things are foundation. And that doesn't mean you skip them and that you're not working on a social or digital strategy if you're having to build some of those foundational things. You want to make sure you're getting credit for those foundational things, and that your management and your stakeholders understand that the foundational elements are what is going to enable you to have success. You can't just jump onto Twitter and onto Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and Periscope, and the list goes on, and expect to be successful if you don't have the foundational understanding of your market, of your customer, of how you are going to achieve results and provide value to your audience. Right? And that's where you have got to do this mindset shift and education with the people inside your own walls to help them understand you are building a brick house, right? Not a straw little hut. And that is going to take time. Okay. So now tip number 2 things you must do is select 1 to 3 strategic and top business goals where you can align social media. This is pretty straightforward. You don't need to align to all 10 business goals that you have. Figure out where social media can have the greatest impact and then align there. And if you don't know where to start here, this is where a third party can really help you, somebody like our agency. But make sure you know what your top business goals are and you know how social media is going to help you with those. All right. Tip number 3 is to develop your social business plan. And I talked about the template earlier. Go download our 8-step template to develop a social business plan. Go to socialzoomfactor.com/social business plan. But you need to develop your plan your work and work your plan. You need to know what you're doing and why. Tip number 4 is you need to select and measure the right key performance indicators, KPIs. And here you need to make sure that you are speaking the same language as your executives. We've found in working with clients from, solopreneurs, startups, all the way up to enterprise companies that language barriers, and I'm not talking Chinese versus talking English. I'm talking speaking the same language into what we're talking about here. So what does success look like to all of us? What is a KPI? What is social media? What is Facebook? What is a metric that matters? The executives care about very different KPIs than what may really be needed to get a social business off the ground, to get a social program off the ground. The executive is thinking about customer satisfaction. They're thinking about revenue. They're thinking about risk to the business, where a community manager is thinking about, I need to get more followers. I need to get more fans. I need to build my community. The line of business people, if you're in a large organization, they're thinking about, how can I get these insights back to my organization, my team, so that we can develop better product? What does that word of mouth look like? So speaking the same language is key. And that's why you need to collaborate, collaborate and listen, right, with the people within your organization, because then you're going to know what matters to them. You're going to be able to educate them and shift that mindset to get all of you on the same page. So select and measure the right KPIs and make sure that everybody understands what they are. That's going to be a key component of your grounded foundation. And last but not least, we have tip number 5, which is simply get to work, right? The best way to get your continued budget approved is to show results and fast. And no, you may not have sales. You may not have revenue in the first 2 months you launch your program or substantial, but make sure you set goals of building the foundation that we talked about earlier. Establish your content and your visual marketing strategy. Start aligning to your business goals, and the list goes on. These are all things that must be done. Once you know who you are, you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, your gaps, how you're going to hire, how you're going to utilize resources from a third party, then get the help that you need. Right? That may be help in engaging and empowering employees, doing some of the research that is needed to understand your audience deeper, to understand the larger ecosystem, to help fill in the gaps that you need to plan your work and work your plan. You're not going to get your social media budget approved if you have people who are needing to approve that, executives and a board, stakeholders that need to approve that plan, unless you do these things. You have to roll up your sleeves and get to work. If you need help, call us. And our full service agency, Marketing Nuts, we are an experiential branding, digital, and social media agency. We provide these services for small and enterprise businesses every single day. This is what we do for our day job, my friends. So if you need help, we can help you. We can come in and do a quick audit, a strategy, and a plan. We can help you get approval for your budget. We can help you develop a plan for staffing internally. We can even help you interview people or identify them. We can, help you identify how you need to leverage other third-party resources, tools, and technology. What processes and procedures are you needing to minimize risk and make sure everything is running as efficiently and as possible? And then, of course, matching your audience needs to the right social networks and technology where you can have the greatest return on investment. And for the next 30 days, we hardly ever do deals like this. We are offering $500 off a social media audit strategy and plan. Okay. So $500 off our services to get you going in the right direction in 2016. So if you are interested, just go visit The Marketing Nuts with a Z, and we will get to work for you very quickly. We have a dedicated team. We just moved into a brand new office in Orlando. Our team gets together face to face every day. We're not just a virtual team meeting by Skype. If you're here in local Orlando area, you can come meet with us face to face. If you're anywhere in the globe, we can all get in a room and look you in the digital eyeballs via video or Skype. But we would love to be able to help you. So I hope this podcast today has helped you understand some of the core foundational elements you need to get that social media budget approved. And check out the resources that I pointed out earlier. Go to socialzoomfactor.com/198 and I will have everything there for you to access and get started. Best of luck and success to you in 2016 and beyond. That's a wrap.
If you're ready to Zoom your business and Zoom your life, then don't let the end of this episode be the end of your journey. Visit socialzoomfactor.com/Zoom for incredible free resources and guides. And be sure to join the Social Zoom Factor mailing list so you never miss an episode. We'll see you next time on Social Zoom Factor.